Hello, don't go anywhere. This is the wrong place, but it might turn out to be the right one. You're here with Joe, and
Aakash, and you're listening to the We've Got
we've got
Nothing
nothing
Left.
left podcast. Oh, I thought
I,
we were saying
I
that
thought I was going to say it.
together. Oh, all right. Let's just go. Get
Let's
into it.
just go.
All right. Welcome to the We've Got Nothing Left podcast. This week, this whenever it's going to come out, we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian season 3 finale. You here with me and Akash?
Aakash, hello. Yes, the Mandalorian season 3 finale. I
Oh,
remember actually, I watched it 2 days late, and
yeah,
my first sort of concern was just seeing spoilers for this thing, this awaited finale about the Mandalorian. I was excited to see where it was going to go after the last episode set up a really juicy sort of finale.
yeah.
And I messaged Joe about it, and he was like, I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I don't want to sway your opinion. As soon as you said that, I knew I had a bad feeling. I had a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
They should have said this in this episode, I feel.
yeah. Yeah, I literally wrote, watch 2 days late, scared of spoilers. What is a spoiler from the finale that you could tell me right now?
A spoiler from the finale, that Moff Gideon's armor sounds like Iron Man's armor.
Oh yeah, I
Zzz,
didn't
zzz,
realize.
zzz,
Bit of
zzz,
Favreau in
like
there.
that. It's
I
it's ridiculous.
I think my point was that I don't know what the plot was for this, guys. Like I really struggled, and it's probably gonna surprise a couple of people because I did speak to someone about this. My mate Abraham, a little shout out to him, and he was like, "How did you find the Mandalorian?" And I was like, "Oh mate, I don't know, I didn't hit the mark." He's like, "Really? I enjoyed it." So,
Mm,
bearing that in mind, why didn't you
polarizing.
like it? Or
Look,
did you like it?
no, well, look, I'm gonna come out with just saying that with Disney Star Wars, I think the Mandalorian is my favorite thing to come out of it.
Yeah,
I think after the tragedy of Rise of Skywalker, the Mandalorian was needed, and I think it really did sort of rejuvenate
yeah,
the
franchise.
franchise. But having said that, then we did get things like Book of Boba Fett, and I can't even think of something else off the top of my head. But
And all, I mean, that was,
Andor's another episode in itself
yeah,
because
yeah,
I adore Andor. I'm not gonna lie,
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
But anyway, don't judge me on that. But with Mandalorian, like I said, I think it's the best thing to come out of Disney Star Wars. But I have this thing, right? It sounds ridiculous, but I feel like it really lost its way after. This is gonna sound
Away.
really stupid, right? You know when the Razor Crest gets. Oh, all right, okay,
Blown up.
okay, all right, hold on. Yeah,
Blown.
spoilers for the whole of Mandalorian and Star Wars in general. Yeah, when the Crest gets blown up at the end of season 2, right? My heart was broken into little pieces,
You were
and
emotionally connected,
I
do you
was
mean?
emotionally connected to the
Yeah.
Razor Crest. And ever since then, I've just felt like it's slowly lost its way. Like
Symbolic
it's lost,
almost.
yeah, it's lost its identity. Um, and
Yeah.
with coming into I will get back to season 3, but
Mm-hmm.
with the Book of Boba Fett, and when they mention, oh, we can get help other ways, and then the Mandalorian theme plays a little bit.
Yeah,
I
that
was like,
little
oh, Mandalorian, and then 3 episodes are about the Mandalorian. I was like, what?
bro.
Like
Season
this
three is
is,
already out.
yeah, I know, but with season 3, I'm not gonna lie. I watched the first episode and I thought that started out terribly.
Mm.
It felt like it was directed by Robert Rodriguez again with Book of Boba Fett, and it was just sort of back on Navarro, back with IG-11 at the time, back with the same shtick, you know.
Let's go on
Um,
an adventure and help out
yeah,
this
yeah,
week.
yeah.
A
But but
warlord
but
who's
look, I
I don't know.
with that, I don't really mind that because it
Yeah.
is just sort of. the way it's designed. You know?
Oh yeah, that's the premise of the show, isn't it? That they
Yeah,
go on adventures and they solve sort of
yeah,
like small sort of like crimes and help out innocent people and stuff. That is
yeah.
a nice
With
way they
something
have.
stirring in the background. But we'll get
Yeah,
onto
not
that.
even a,
What
yeah,
the
exactly.
stirring in the background later on, because that is
Yes.
fucking ridiculous. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to start off with the finale. Um, the fact that at the end of episode 8, I thought, wait, what episode is this? This is episode
Yeah.
8, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Episode 8.
the spies,
The
the episode
Spies.
7,
Oh my God, The
the
Spy.
penultimate
What a
one.
title. What a
Yeah,
title for an
that
episode.
doesn't pay off. Um, but with that episode, I thought, okay, we're getting something. We're getting into the meat of it now. Um, After Lizzo and Jack Black, but again, we'll come back to that. Um, with with the penultimate episode with the spies, I thought, oh yeah, okay, Gideon's back. He hasn't got his mustache, which was a sin. I thought that was
See,
just
something so iconic.
disgraceful. Yeah,
R.I.P.
the mustache was probably the biggest loss in Star
I
Wars ever.
think they were considering CGI in it on,
Oh
but
yeah, but we know how that went with
yeah,
Henry
Superman.
Cavill. Um, but yeah, it started off really well, the penultimate episode, and it just continued to, it felt like a sort of half of a
Mate,
film.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. When it hits that vibe in a TV show, it's sweet. That is what
Yeah, yeah,
Star
yeah,
Wars is. It's
yeah,
cinematic. It's got stakes.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
got yeah.
Agreed. And then it got to, Mando's separated. He's tangled up. He's being captured.
Oh
Paz
man,
Vizsla. He's the fucking Praetorian guards from Last Jedi, which I'm sure a lot of people didn't uh,
that
enjoy that
connection,
much.
yeah. Oh,
Um, and
I did.
he's yeah, I did as well. He's dispatched, like a fucking like the
Oh, he had like a
enforcer that he
warrior's
was.
death.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And quite gruesomely as well. Not gruesome, but like quite, not something I expected, like being stabbed multiple times and things.
yeah.
But
They set
just
it up really well, didn't they?
yeah, yeah, they set everything up for a
It was in
finale that
place,
was going to be
and it
like,
was
oh
like,
wow, okay.
what is
And
the payoff now? What is that
as
plot?
soon as it started, what did we get? Mando was Mando escaped.
Immediately.
Like
Honestly,
that.
no. Oh my God. As soon as that happened, I was just like, nah. Nah, I was visualizing, like in my head what was going to happen. I was like, oh my God. So in every finale,
Yeah.
Mando's helmet gets removed, and there's this whole stigma with the Mandalorian losing his armor. I'm thinking he's wearing a whole lot of Beskar. They're just gonna totally rip off his armor, take his
Mm.
helmet off, which would have been so powerful to see, and like either like melt it down or something.
Imagine
Like,
an armorless Din Djarin being thrown in front of a
yeah,
Bo-Katan and saying like, "This
yeah,
is what we can do to you if you because you
exactly,
separate with because where
mate.
that's why I thought where Din was talking about honor and character and that to Bo-Katan on the ship on the boat thing with Sal. I don't know what that was, but
Yeah,
um, and then I thought he's sort of sacrificing away at the end,
mm,
where he then gets captured because of that loyalty, would be a good way of showing Bo-Katan that it can do damage. But no, Grogu in his robot suit comes along,
mate,
sorts
I
him
can't even
out.
remember. I really can't even remember how they even how we even
Yeah,
did that. They went on a whole different part of the base, and like also the
yeah.
fact that they went to Mandalore not once, twice before, and still had
Hmm.
no detection of the fact that there
I
was
know.
an
Yeah,
Imperial base there.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but then like just walking through the cave. What if a
I know.
stormtrooper just walked past him? Oh, you're
I
right, mate.
know. I saw someone saying, the ones that are on the boats. One of them is Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad, which is quite funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but people are saying, how did they not like notice TIE fighters coming in and out of their
Oh
planet?
yeah.
Like, how can you not hear coming in
Well,
and out of your
the
planet?
only the only logical reason would be, which I thought immediately, was that those guys were the spies. Those guys were Imperials that were in
Yeah,
like, and I thought when they took them to that little ecosystem where life exists on Mandalore, that they were gonna like reveal this whole controversy. I mean, it would have been bit of a cliche twist, but at least it would have been something. And I found that
yeah.
in a lot of the episode, like the whole thing with Axe going to the Star Cruiser. I
Mm,
was like, okay, somehow we can just fly all the way into space with his jetpack and his comms are still working. Like, what the hell was that about? And he
Yeah.
can breathe. And he
Yeah.
gets onto this ship, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, a little bit like sort of like Last Jedi. Well, he'll sacrifice himself. But I just want to say, I just found like
Mm.
it would have been cliche for him to die, but the fact that he
Yeah.
managed to like sort of just kamikaze it or something into the base of Mandalore, and I don't even know how he survived. I just found that so lazy.
Yeah. I mean, we're jumping ahead a bit, but
Mm.
with that, I think it does. Well, let me just have a look actually, because I did write something down about it. I've got so many fucking notes about this.
We're definitely not going to stick to the script.
No, we're definitely not. I thought that it was quite a nice end to his character. I thought, oh, okay,
Yeah,
this is
serve
actually
the
quite nice.
story.
And he fucking blows out a window and flies away.
Oh,
I
is
was
that
like,
how
what are
he
you
did it?
doing?
As you do?
He went blew out a window and flew away. I was like, right, okay, look, don't get me wrong, that's totally plausible, right? Fine.
Hmm.
But have something where like he's rocket launcher or something, whatever it is like fouled or something. So he can have like a hero's death.
Yeah,
No one, I'm just thinking now, no one died reclaiming Mandalore.
that's what I'm saying. And why also just to say,
Some random
reclaiming
Mandalorians.
Mandalore, it's been this whole thing since
Since
season
Rebels,
one. Yeah, well, Rebels
almost.
exactly. When you find out the Empire's
Season
taken
one.
over and the Great Purge, Filoni's going to do a film on like this sort of Mandoverse, if you want to call it, and connecting all the sort of Star Wars properties. But it's like if you're going to do that, why would you not turn the siege of not the siege of Mandalore, take a Mandalore, sorry,
Yeah.
liberate Mandalore? That's like a film. That's a whole series. It's called Star Wars. There was no dogfights in space. There was no fighting on the ground. You just had this really over-reliant use on hundreds of people on jetpacks all just smashing into each other. And it's just like so much is going on that my brain just didn't care and couldn't process it. And it was just like, I just want to see a hand-on-hand fight between like Bo-Katan and an Imperial Guard and see her use that dark saber. And I know the dark saber is also something that
Yeah.
will be interesting to talk about on this after it just felt like it went to waste. It sort of resolved this whole thing that Mando said, like, the sword wasn't
Yeah.
the power was with you, in you, all along, Bo-Katan. And then, like, I just found that, like, I don't know, I just felt like there was a lot of sort of wasted potential with it.
Oh, mate,
And
this I feel like this whole series was kind of wasted potential. Um, I just want to. I know you've gone quite in depth about that,
mm,
but I've got two. I've got a letter and a number for you. R
oh, yeah.
five,
Oh, dearie
mate.
me.
What what was that all about? Look, right, okay. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. R2D2, right? Coming onto a ship and sorting out the elevators. Oh, sorry, I dropped something. Sorting out the elevators for Anakin and Obi-Wan in
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge
Yeah.
of the Sith. And other, yeah, it's happened like doing the trash compactor in New Hope, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was never then attacked by a group of mouse droids bashing into him, completely undercutting the tone of everything that's going on.
Just think like how high the emotional stakes would be if you saw this droid that has been in the first episode of Star Wars and then he's getting like just shot down by like Imperial guards. That would have been
Hmm.
heartbreaking to see. What if he was getting shot but he was still working? He's like he
Yeah.
could have had a whole arc fulfilled of being like scared, but he does something to save Mando and then he dies.
Yeah.
Like how
Just being bumped into by mouse droids.
yeah, oh I'll just fly away.
Yeah. Did he fly away? Because I don't actually remember him flying away. Did
Yeah,
he?
he did.
Did he die?
He just like, and I was a bit like,
He
oh
died.
no, they brought it back. Like,
R5D4. Is it R5D4? Yeah. Blew up.
yeah, his band motivator is
Oh
a
no.
bomb.
But talking about that though, with the whole R5 thing, bless him. I do love him, but it was kind of embarrassing. It made me cringe.
I think it's hard with
Um,
fan service, isn't it? When you just throw it in for the
yeah,
sake of it, but serving the story and fan service
yeah,
combined is so much more powerful, you know?
yeah. But with the R5 thing, what he was actually doing with the red doors, like Phantom Menace,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did I did enjoy that sequence. I think where it's
Mm.
like, oh, the
Back and
next ones
forth.
were prepping, the next ones were
Yeah,
prepping,
yeah.
and then the next ones, and then they're coming, and then the last one where it's all the smoke,
Mm.
and the blasters are going off and they can't see, and there
Yeah.
it gave Mando kind of a almost mystical feel where he's sort of like they're terrified of him, but they're still going to fight him, but they're terrified of him.
I I just found such a mad
But
distinction with the fact that he's essentially doing the exact same thing he did as Joel Miller in The Last of Us, where he's
oh
just going
yeah,
like
going through
on, yeah,
the
and yeah,
facility.
just shooting down guys. I mean, I know
Yeah,
he's got Grogu, but he's essentially trying to save the kid.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I just found like it. I just found it was shot terribly. Like I couldn't focus on what was going on. If it was like a
Mm.
one shot, it could have been so much more dynamic, I find. But
Yeah, I
I
get that.
heard someone say that it sort of gave a video game sort of vibe. And if you're playing as the
Yeah,
Mando trying to get through each one, you'd feel a lot more sort of like
hence.
heightened and tense and like,
Yeah,
oh, am
yeah,
I gonna
yeah.
make it? The odds are completely against me. But
I think with
yeah.
that as well, coming back to what you're saying about them doing a one shot, to have a
Mm,
one shot in one of these episodes where I don't know, I don't think we've had that before with Mandalorian, probably not, but
you see.
where he's going through it and it's following him, sort of like a almost like a third person sort of thing. Um, but with those red doors, Moff Gideon's base is so badly designed that R5D4 flew in and just shut down his security. It was that easy.
Yeah, and it's you know what? It's just like that reveal was called the Empire had completely corrupted Mandalore, destroyed it, and then they made their own base.
Yeah.
It's also something that was done in the video game, and I find a lot with the TV shows. A lot of people that haven't played the video games get to experience that feeling for the first
Which
time.
one?
In Fallen Order, when he goes onto the planet, I can't remember what it's called, but the
Oh,
planet to
Ilum.
make his lightsaber. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
ILM.
it looks like Starkiller.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he
Yeah.
goes on that and then he discovers the Imperial base, a good Star Killer sort of connection to the sequel trilogy, but it's like, oh my God, the Empire are just relentless. So I did like the reveal that the Empire did that again. I don't mind them reusing stuff from sort of video games, but I don't know. I just found
Yeah.
it a bit sort of like too reliant on stuff that's done before and
No,
like
definitely.
sort of what was new in the episode that you found, I don't know, striking. That
Something
yeah,
new.
yeah.
Oh,
What? The
oh,
execs are just like shivering. Like,
um,
no.
uh, 3 words. Moff Gideon clones
Oh damn,
with the
damn.
Force. A couple of extra words. That is, I'm really sorry, Roy. I'm really, really sorry. When he, when he, when, when
We
he
had to
looks
run.
into, when he looks into the vial, when he opens his eyes.
Oh God, I knew it was gonna happen as well.
Look,
I was
I
just like,
love
what?
Giancarlo. What is it? Giancarlo.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Um, but it genuinely, it, it just gave me the thought, right? Imagine if he was successful. He
Hmm.
has 100 Moff Gideon clones with the Force running about.
Naked,
That
by the
is
way.
the naked. That is not like the what the Dark Troopers. They
Yeah,
were
yeah.
they were intimidating. They were scary in their own way. Like I wouldn't want to face up against one of those. But a
Hmm.
Moff Gideon clone with the Force, it just sounds so
Force is not
ridiculous.
like I insert Han Solo. That's not how the Force works.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the whole reason like Jedi train with it, like it's not
yeah.
something that I know they're like isolated. Grogu's obviously potentially powerful. I mean, we don't know what the clones' abilities would look like.
Mm,
Maybe some have survived and they're probably like leaving it open because I imagine they've teased the idea, but they don't actually pay it off to generate sort of the fans' reaction to it. So if there's a lot
Yeah,
of backlash to that idea, scrap it. But if they like it, season four, one of them
yeah.
survived, come back, you know.
I just
But
think with that though, with Moff Gideon having those clones, and as soon as they're revealed to be Moff Gideon clones, they're gone like that because
yeah,
Mando and Grogu just destroy them.
yeah, I'll
Fair
press
enough.
some random
Yeah,
buttons
I'll
because
press
I
some
know
random
these
buttons. Then
systems. Like,
yeah, they get
ah,
destroyed. Um, and I was going to say something. What was it? It was. Oh, that was it. If that's what these two seasons have been leading up to, with there's something
yes,
dark going on with
Doctor
Grogu being,
Passions,
yeah.
research, yeah,
I'm just like,
that
no,
was it,
surely that's not it. That can't be it.
dude.
See, I
I
mean,
was
there is a season four confirmed.
okay.
There is the scripts are written apparently. John Favreau's written the
Mm.
scripts. Um, so it must go into something else.
Yeah, because the whole idea is like as well. You do know the end product with Sith
Yeah,
cloning. You've got
yeah.
Snoke, and eventually the Emperor. So like, it's whether it's sort of serving the Empire. Actually, the idea
Yeah,
of the
maybe.
Doctor Pershing's research.
Yeah, maybe that is the whole sort of thing with Project Necromancer, which they
What does that actually allude
I
to for
think
me and for the audience? If
I
you know,
I don't think
the
it's
pressure's on.
actually it's like mastermind. I don't think it's about resurrecting the Emperor specifically. I think it's bringing a new leader to the Empire. So with
Heir to the
Ahsoka
Empire.
coming, I mean, look, well, heir to the Empire. There you go.
Mm,
Thrawn.
yeah,
I think
Grand
they're
Admiral.
yeah. Thrawn is probably going to be set up to be the villain of the next few years of Star Wars.
Yeah, someone that can connect the sequel trilogy to the original
Yeah,
trilogy and
yeah,
actually make it
and
sort
all the
of
stuff in between.
yeah,
Yeah, with Rebels, um, Ahsoka. I mean,
yeah,
we won't talk. I won't talk much about it now with Ahsoka, but them mentioning Grand Admiral Thrawn, um, it just felt like, another sort of here's something else we've got coming up soon.
yeah. Do you know what? It's like a little
Um,
like Star Wars celebration within the episode of like let's just tell the
yeah,
fans of our events like that. It's
yeah.
a difference between doing that or doing a post-credit scene with Thanos at the end of Avengers, like and
Yeah,
like oh,
Thrawn coming in.
who is that? Yeah.
Moff Gideon's dead. I'll do it myself, sort of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah. Like
yeah.
I don't know. Like it did sort of work with
It
Ahsoka
makes
because that,
sense. Look,
yeah,
with Star Wars, Star Wars is, and I'll quote someone here, someone who's called Rich Evans. Red Letter Media is the best
hmm
channel on YouTube. I don't know. Have you ever watched it? Or
after we've got nothing left, of course, which is available on
oh yeah,
YouTube.
of course, available on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon Music. But which you should know because you're listening to it. But
Yeah, true.
Red Letter Media, Rich Evans, he's maybe the funniest person alive. After you, of course, Akash. But he he says that Star Wars is creatively bankrupt, and I
Explain that.
agree. So it has nothing new to give,
Yeah, that whole idea of like it's like
nothing new.
poetry. It
Yeah,
rhymes,
yeah.
so let's just do everything
Something
that happens.
something random George Lucas said in an office one day when he's bored and with 5 hours of sleep
Yeah,
sort of retains to the whole of Star Wars now.
yeah.
Um, Moff Gideon, okay, new in a way. What's his main sort of weapon? The dark saber, something else.
Mm.
Okay,
Or a
now it's
vibro blade.
yeah, or
Yeah,
now it's Mandalorian armor, something old.
yeah.
He's a Moff. A Moff has been a villain before. It just becomes okay. The Dark Troopers in a way,
Mm.
but even then,
Video
expanded
games.
media. In video
Well,
games, the Dark
I
Troopers
don't.
existed.
I don't mind the idea of them drawing upon the expanded universe
No,
because
no, no,
obviously
no.
that has like decades worth of like lore in it, and it can help bring new ideas. But I think we're in an era where people are too scared to try something new,
Yeah,
and especially where you got a lot riding on the back of Star Wars to like
yeah, Yeah.
to like make a character called Jar Jar Binks a new species and do that. We've seen the effect that that can have, but at the
Do you,
same time,
yeah, go on.
originality when it pays off.
Mm.
What this episode lacked, and I think it's to do with the fact that there was nothing basically original in it, is like, do you know the first time you saw in Infinity War where Thor used the Bifrost to come down into Wakanda and he's running up and he's about to just charge at
Yeah,
the Stampede? That sort of moment where the stakes are sort of at its highest and then that hope comes in, that's what it was missing. And what I mean was there was nothing that I wanted to rewatch in this episode. And I think it's linked to the idea of having something original because if you
mm.
see something new, you automatically want to get that feeling back again.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you
yeah,
see red laser doors from the Phantom Menace and
yeah,
R5 and stuff that you're just familiar with, you're actually taken out of the moment of the story and thinking back to something else and then back into the
yeah,
story, if you get what I mean.
yeah. No, I totally agree. I think I feel like with Dave, we'll probably speak about it in another episode, but with Dave Filoni's announced film, which is going to culminate all of these TV shows.
Mm, mm.
That in itself is sort of an Infinity War type of thing, where it's
Yeah.
Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett,
Yeah.
even possibly leading into the sequels in a way where we'll have
Yeah.
Han and Leia. They're about why not? You can't have the New Republic without showing a bit of Leia. I'm sorry, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. I
Yeah.
don't want it to happen, but we're gonna have de-aged.
They're definitely on that
Nah.
idea now with
Oh,
DH. Like basically Lucasfilm tried to reboot these legacy characters, obviously with Solo, and I think Alden did an amazing job. And he did sort
yeah,
of
yeah,
what Ewan did with Obi-Wan, and I really like that.
yeah,
But now,
yeah.
since that backlash, they're like, oh, so we need to keep consistency and continue deep faking Luke Skywalker and bringing Mark Hamill in, which is nice.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's these
it's
characters are beyond the
silly.
actor. Yeah. Oh, it's
Look,
hard. It's a
look.
hard conversation, you know. I think I
Why?
like it, but I don't.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's hard. I think just fucking recast them. I don't get what the
Yeah.
issue is.
Because people are
Look,
so passionate, you know, like
people are
it
so
would hurt,
attached.
but people
People are
don't
so
like
attached to
change.
a face. It's a
Yeah.
face. Um, I mean, have you seen the
Joe just
behind the
pulls his face
scenes?
off.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually Harrison Ford underneath. I'm 80 years old.
Yeah.
Um, but something like right, I've got two things going on here, right? So something like Indiana Jones, the upcoming Dial of Destiny, whatever it's called, where
Yeah.
they de-age him, right?
Yeah.
To show a younger version. That's fine because
Hmm.
he's still in his saying he's still in his prime. He's 80 years old, but
Yeah.
Harrison
He's
Ford
still
can do that.
consistently that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
character, and
And
he's like
also,
playing an older and a younger
yeah,
version.
and it's most likely it's going to sound awful, but it's most likely the
No, it's
last
his
time
last.
he might play
He
it.
said it
Yeah,
is. No, it is his
right.
last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and to de-age him to show him in the past, if it was a
Yeah.
full Indiana Jones film in the past with him de-aged, I'd be a bit like, come on. But
Yeah.
I might kick myself after watching it, and it's going to probably go in the past or something. But like
Yeah.
fully, like time travel, or please don't. But if they're going to do an Heir to the Empire adaptation with Leia, Han, and
Mm,
Luke,
they're in their prime at the moment.
they
Like,
need to recast them.
I don't think you can get an emotional performance out of
No,
the deep fake. Your brain can distinguish whether a face is real or not.
yeah,
And
yeah,
this Book of Boba Fett did show a massive improvement from the Mandalorian, but
yeah,
they
but it's
have sort
still
of they've
wonky. It
shot
was still
themselves in the
wonky.
foot with this sort of like, yeah, it's just
Let me show you actually the book of Boba Fett behind the scenes um of when they were filming Luke Skywalker.
mm,
Uh it just shows like the how ridiculous it is. Oh, don't play that. It's copyright. how ridiculous it actually is that they didn't recast him.
'Cause not only do
Hold on a minute. Right,
they
here you
bring
go.
in, yeah,
Right. Sorry everyone, you can't actually see this,
yeah.
but
I'm gonna audio
it's
describe it,
better. Yeah.
everyone.
Right, ready?
What have you sent it on? Oh,
I'll show you. Can't really see.
it actually that guy
It
looks
looks
like him
exactly
so
like
much.
him.
Yeah, well, to be
Why didn't
fair, they
they
definitely
recast him?
Yeah, I know. I've seen that before. Yeah, it's just like,
I love
yeah.
Mark Hamill, right? I
Oh
love
yeah,
Mark Hamill. But if he really cared for the character and loved the character, he'd allow it to be recast
yeah.
and
He would.
fully recast voice and everything, because
You know what?
it needs some fresh, fresh blood.
Yeah,
And like
that
you were
is.
saying, if you're watching the film and plastic wonky face Luke Skywalker walks on screen, I mean, there's a reason in the season 2 finale. Is it season 2 finale? Yeah, season
Mm,
2 finale that Luke Skywalker was 90% with a hood over his face. Because
yeah,
I remember when
yeah,
he put down that hood, I was like,
yeah. Just like,
"Ooh, that's
oh.
bad." Like his hair looked like when like a face glitches right, and a pixel
Yeah,
is like almost turned around.
yeah,
Those puzzles where you have to turn it to like match the image. It looked like part of his hair was like turned, like it wasn't like attached to the face. It was
yeah.
so weird and
They were still
off.
doing that CG sort of thing, and now
Yeah,
they've moved on to deep fake technology, which
yeah,
seems
yeah,
a bit more promising. But I mean, beyond, I think just to wrap the point around, it's
yeah, yeah.
whether now in can the Mandalorian survive without bringing in legacy characters?
Yeah, the Mandalorian was designed to be its own thing. I feel like that was the
Mm,
draw of the whole show in the first place.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and then they bring Luke Skywalker into it and Boba Fett, and I think Boba Fett was always designed to be in it.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's like the original
Yeah,
caricature for the
but
character.
then
That made sense.
do you know what? I know not to get off track even more, but with where I felt as well that they didn't sort of know how to handle everything. Having Boba Fett and Luke Skywalker in the same episode and they don't meet.
Yeah, I think they definitely like made that
Like
choice,
what?
like let him go to hyperspace because like that interaction, that's not going to be good. Like Boba's
No.
character's had like an arc now where he's sort of like I don't know, he's almost like Marlon Brando from The Godfather, isn't he? He's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this
No, I get it.
prime soprano type guy, so he's still a bit
Yeah,
dodgy. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't even know if I want to. It sounds weird, but I don't know if I want to see them together. I think the reason why they haven't met as well, the original trilogy, that's precious. What you can't do when making new Star Wars is do something which fundamentally alters the source material because
yeah,
then it's set in stone. The prequels had full license to do something new because they, even though it was leading into the original trilogy, it didn't have like an effect on the story. Sort of similar with the sequel trilogy in a way, because you're going 30 years after, but we're in a period where we're the closest to the original trilogy, which was filmed the longest time ago in a galaxy
yeah,
far, far
yeah,
away.
yeah.
And it's just it just feels like if you can't capture the same charm and tone of the
Why not
original
stop?
trilogy, yeah, you're going to, if you're using Luke Skywalker, you might damage
Yeah,
something.
but
I
look,
don't know.
let's get back to the episode in question. Um, I think
What was it
I'd
called?
say
The Return, wasn't it? Return
yeah.
of the
There is.
Jedi.
Oh, there
I
you
got
go.
that
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. I
What?
actually forgot what
Who's
it was
returned?
called.
Yeah, what was the return?
Who's returned? R5D4.
Okay, yeah,
I think
makes sense.
that's it. Yeah. I tell you something I liked because I feel like not just I think we're both being quite negative about it, but
Yeah,
we haven't said one thing
everyone's
good
just crying
about
on
it.
this.
Yeah.
These guys are
Um,
so depressing.
these comments are not going to be great, but anyway, Bo-Katan flying in with the other Mandalorians, and like sort of holding the dark saber out in front. I
Mm,
really like that someone said that they looked like missiles going in, like they were like ready to like
Yeah, sort
do
of like
anything.
this.
Yeah, yeah,
That's such a cool. They should have had like a shot. Like I'm doing with my hands, like no one can see it, but it's like
yeah.
almost
I'll
like
describe it. Oh, the fingers are coming into each other. Oh, oh,
from the top right to the
oh,
bottom.
bang! Yeah, there you go.
Go
Right,
like
yeah.
if people can't see, it's just gonna sound out of context and weird. Like people are gonna
That's true.
misinterpret what you're
I know.
doing.
Yeah, that clip might be taken out of
Don't,
context,
yeah, yeah.
um,
But
but look, I mean, I said I loved that bit, but I'm sorry that there's a but. When they come into contact with the Imperial super commandos or whatever they are, it just looked like, yeah,
I mentioned this,
Akash
didn't
is
I?
doing it again. Yeah, it looked
This
like,
over-reliance on CGI,
yeah,
like birds or
just
loads of birds just
a
slapping into each other.
scramble. Yeah, it's a
And
scramble.
I mean, that's ugly. That's good. That's war. Having like
Yeah,
tackles and but like get to the ground. I just don't like the reliance on the jetpacks as well. They're cool, but
yeah,
like I don't know actually though as well because we haven't really seen the fight happen in mid-air. So I thought
yeah.
that
Look,
it
I
was
liked
interesting.
that with the
Yeah.
jetpacks. I know that it can be over relied on, but it's one of their tools.
Oh
You
yeah.
wouldn't
No,
not
this
use it,
exactly.
but
I actually
right,
yeah.
it wasn't even that got me right. So they were firing their guns. Obviously, the Imperials have Beskar as well, so they're
Mm.
getting their necks or wherever the exposed bits. The armorer comes along with a fucking hammer and tongs and does more damage to them than blasters do. She's just whacking them on the head, and they're going down like a
Well, those
sack of
are
shit.
made out of Beskar, so it makes sort of sense that it can damage
Uh,
them more, but it's also like,
Also, she should, if as soon as she uses a jetpack, she should be in a blaze of fire.
well,
She's
yeah, that
literally
fur
like
coat, Jesus.
all of like her back is fur coat. I know Mando's got a cape, but at least
Yeah.
like
Well,
she's
this
literally
cape
got
actually
fur.
does like it's frayed at the bottom and shit. It's like definitely
Yeah,
worn out.
yeah, true,
But
yeah, yeah,
I just found as well like such a perfect opportunity to reveal her as this whole spy if it was ever going to
yeah.
happen. Because
That's
you
another
made
thing.
such an interesting point about a helmet, and everyone's helmet
Yeah,
since is it since Maul took over as Lord of Mandalore?
So in the Clone Wars, in I think it was in the last series of the Clone Wars. I'm sure someone's going to correct me. Um, in the last series of the Clone Wars and the sort of the last original series of the Clone Wars and the newer sort of the end
Yeah.
series of
So
the
it's more
Clone
like
Wars, if that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. With the takeover of Mandalore. Can't remember what it's actually called, but
Siege.
the siege. That's it. And the Maul. I can't remember the name. Loyalists. The Maul
Yeah.
loyalists had horns on their helmets, very similar to how the armorer has horns on her helmet, and
And yeah.
Moff Gideon.
Hmm.
And I thought, and I saw a lot of other people say it as well. Moff
Yeah.
Gideon should have been revealed to have been a previous Mandalorian during the Clone Wars. A previous more loyalist Mandalorian during the Clone Wars turned imperialist, turned to the Empire because his way of Mandalore was gone. So he was so obsessed with claiming it back in his image that he did it through the Empire, through other resources, through sub
Mm,
resources. But no,
yeah.
he was just some random man who liked Iron Man armor and cloning himself because he was
Mate.
so narcissistic. I
Yeah.
on like I don't. It feels like they just absolutely flubbed it, mate. It was so underwhelmingly bad.
Payoff. Yeah.
I really, and I actually I hate saying it because I love the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And you know, uh, it just really needed something else.
Yes.
Or
Well,
just quickly, sorry, or
yeah.
the episodes of Book of Boba Fett where the Mandalorian's episodes in Book of Boba Fett, shove him at the start of season three. Have that be the start of season three. He's on his own. He's just
Oh
got the dark
God.
saber.
Yeah. It's just like I just know as well, people that have tuned in from season 2 to season 3 of The Mandalorian and not known to have watched Boba Fett would have missed on
Yeah,
such a good
yeah.
storyline.
And I was seeing
And
people saying, "How the fuck? Why has he got Grogu back?" Like,
can we talk about Grogu as well for a bit? Because
yeah, we. I
I'm gonna
guess we need
say
to.
it. I'm gonna say it. He's overrated now. I really sort of.
Like,
I'm not.
I'm looking around my room of it's based. Sorry, I'm drinking a bottle. Sorry. Um, I'm looking around my room of I can see Grogu quite a lot,
I bought you
and
Grogu once, didn't
you
I?
did.
Got a
Yeah,
little
you did.
Grogu
You did. I think I've got him here
collectible
somewhere. Look,
hot
I can
toy.
literally. He's in hand's reach. Oh, that's not Grogu. That's an owl. Oh,
While
hold
Joe
on.
tries to find his Grogu
Hold
toys,
on. Here you go.
um,
Here he is.
yes, here
Um,
he is.
he now he's in the terrible twos. I feel. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear me while I was talking. He's in the terrible twos. And he is becoming annoying.
Now,
The
now, now,
fucking
now, now.
it was the worst decision. Like it was the worst decision to put him in a mech suit that he has a yes and no button. It's like Stewie Griffin, right? From the
Mm,
from the Family Guy, where people can sometimes understand and people can't. Grogu can just now understand everyone and what everyone says to him.
yeah, I
And
think.
also, when sorry to interrupt, but when they said this is the way to each other, Bo and Mando, he goes like he tries to say it. I was like, no, no, he's only like 51 or something, isn't he? Or is this
It
taken
is.
over place over like decades of time? What is
Well,
going on?
the problem with that is how much can you do with him if you age him so slowly? It makes sense for him to be a baby for the whole point of, selling toys and stuff and the cuteness factor. I
Yeah.
can't deny the fact that he does pull on your heartstrings sometimes when he's
Yeah,
getting
no, no, of
emotional
course,
over Din,
sure. Yeah.
but or jarring now as he's called. But I just I just found like when I saw him get pursued by those three Praetorian guards. So the whole thing was that the creators revealed that he was training with Luke for 2 years.
What?
Yeah, I know. Like
Like what?
around, I
Like
bet he just thought
what?
about that on the. Yeah, if you apparently he was with Luke for like 2 years. That's definitely been like retconned and added after
No,
because
mate,
I know
no.
because that means the Mando was on his own for 2 years.
Oh,
That is a whole other season. It could have been better
that
than
should have been
season
season
three.
3. He was on his own,
Yes, yes, and like
and
completely
then he's
lost his
reunited
way.
at the
He should
end.
have lost his way, and then Grogu brings it back. But with
Terrible.
Grogu, to bring that point back, it's just like he is limited with the fact that he can't use a lightsaber. He can sort of force dodge people and stuff, and force jump, but it looks really sort of weird when he's jumping
Yeah, I
around.
wanted to
And
talk about this, right?
yeah, and
Campy has always been a part of Star Wars, like, well, not campy,
yeah,
but like sort of like a rustic sort of look, right? With Yoda being a puppet in Empire, and I
yeah,
know he was then CGI, but then bringing the puppet back in Last Jedi, and even like the just the practical effects side of things. But the Grogu puppet needs some updates because him walking around where he's literally not even touching the ground, and he's like two fucking chicken drumsticks just like
mm,
being like flayed around,
mate, it
so
costs
to
like
speak.
that puppet costs like $5 million.
Mate,
So the
yeah,
creator is
and
just like, oh my
yeah,
god,
but
not
but
good.
but the jumping as well just looks so
Yeah,
stupid. Like the Praetorian guards, the whole emotional um
stakes. Yeah,
stakes of Paz Vizsla getting just dispatched by those guards,
yeah.
and then they can't even catch. It's like they were trying to swat a fly with
Yes,
Grogu.
that's
Grogu,
exactly what it was.
like him just
Oh,
jumping about from one light fixture to another or whatever they were, and they're just
yeah.
like, like they couldn't get him, and then they cut down a pipe, and
Get,
um and then
get this
yeah, he
pipe
gets
like
caught on
crushes him.
him.
No,
But that's
my
another
one
thing
weakness.
with these guards, right? It
They
again,
always go out
it's
like.
just completely not just that. Yeah, with Kylo and Ray, but
Yeah.
they just got completely misused and underused,
Again.
and
Yeah.
again, um, like them coming on screen with a music and like they're massive, this massive threat. And then Mando can deal with them quite easily. And then when Grogu comes in and he presses no, they just stand there. They're just standing there.
Oh,
They're just
yeah.
standing there. We
Well,
like on top of Mando. If they were actually like gonna kill him and that was their like mission, they just do it. They're not gonna stand there and just wait for this little green bitch to
it's like, all right,
walk in and
lads,
go no
lads,
no no.
all three of us, we got to go and take him down together
Yeah,
because he's too powerful. And you
yeah.
know what? They may have known that from the archives of the Empire or the First Order, or whatever the hell it is now. But yeah, I just felt like I wanted to see a new Force ability from him to keep it fresh. When you had it in season one with the fire, that was awesome and it showcased his power.
Oh,
But to do it again, it was
same
just
beat.
like,
It's the same thing.
yeah, is that all we're
Creatively
ever going to get from
bankrupt.
him? What else
You
can
know
we get
what?
from him?
Right. This comes on to a point I wanted to speak. So
Mm.
quite a few Jedi have died via explosion. Grogu is a baby and he has survived. Not just himself, he saved what in on Navarro, he saved himself, Cara Dune, oh, this one's about her, Grief Karga and Mando. That's four people. Then he saved
Yeah,
three of them, Bo-Katan and Mando, right? From an exploding crew like Star Destroyer, basically. I know
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
the same size, but like what? Right.
But he's
I'm
powerful, you know. Yoda
I get that.
was
No,
strong with the Force,
yeah,
and he's the
he
same species. So
powerful, but like I'm gonna go back to Rebels, right? Just for very short, because it relates.
I know you
But
give us about
yeah,
Kanan.
spoilers for Rebels.
Yeah,
But Kanan dies holding back an Inferno, right?
yeah,
And not the same level of Inferno, and he's holding it back with the Force.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
can't you
He
just
was
hold it
standing
back?
on top. He's standing on top of the explosion. Grogu is having the explosion come at him, so there is
Oh,
a
is he
difference
standing on
there.
top of it?
Yeah, he's standing on top of that tank, so there's no way he can.
Uh,
Caden could realistically come out of it. So it's not. It is two different scenarios. So I do. The symbolism was quite similar, but
all
yeah,
right, no, fair
Grogu had.
enough. I'll
Yeah,
give him that. I'll give him that.
yeah,
But it doesn't excuse the fact that they just did it again.
yeah. With fire,
You
like at
know,
least do something like.
yeah,
Oh,
like
I
water
don't
or
know.
something. Like there's say Mandalore got crystallized and they were forced into the depths where it was like flooded or something, and
Mm,
then there was like a flood barrier and that got blown up and water was rushing in and they
yeah,
held that
but
by
at the
something.
same time, it's still the
You
same
know,
thing, just
it's
with a
the
different
same thing.
element.
Yeah,
You want like something like I don't want to be too out there, but like something to do with time travels or the out of worlds thing. Like what else can the Force do
yeah.
that I don't
I
know?
look.
Bring the
Do you know what?
originality in it.
I know it's the same sort of thing, but it would have been different in a sense that it's coming from Grogu. But imagine he just sort of let off a little spark of lightning.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nah, they
just
tried it with
imagine.
Ray though, and it
No,
just
I know.
sucked.
Yeah,
Like,
but fuck that.
but you know what I would wanted to see, which would have pissed a lot of people off, if that light cruiser was about to head for him, Mando, and Bo, and he managed to like almost like lift it and delay its crash almost. Like I know that he is only a baby, but that would showcase how strong
Yeah,
with the Force he is.
yeah.
That would like
No,
demonstrate.
people would have probably never watched it again if that happened. Like they were annoyed that Darth Vader could hold a ship from going
What? No,
because
of
they're
course
like,
he
why
could do
couldn't
that.
they do that when he was on Hoth? Because who?
Oh.
I tell you what, who gives a
Mate,
shit?
made in the 1980s. They haven't
But then
got the
again,
budget to do
I'm yeah, and I'm
that.
saying that, and I've literally just torn this to pieces, so I can't really say anything myself.
Oh,
But um, back to the Praetorian Guards just quickly,
mm.
um, and the fact that they took a while to get. Sorry, I just had a voice crack there,
Oh,
but
you
uh,
froze there for a second. I don't know if
oh,
that
did
went
I?
on recording.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Am I back? Okay, sorry
yeah.
everyone.
You talk about the
Um,
Praetorian Guards.
yeah, the Praetorian Guards. So they took a while to get dispatched by Kylo and Ray.
We're talking about Last Jedi here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But then they get defeated by a few blaster shots and a couple of force pushes from Joel Miller and Kermit the Frog.
Hmm.
It just felt like it was just like it should have been. You know what, right? Forget the Praetorian Guards. It should have been an upgrade to the Dark Troopers. And I know that the whole thing with Moff Gideon's armor was an upgrade to the Dark Troopers, but it was just like a cluster of different ideas. The Praetorian Guards, Moff Gideon clones, Moff Gideon new armor that's a Dark Trooper upgrade. Why doesn't Moff Gideon's new upgrade be the fact that he's got clones? Can you imagine, right? If if
I
if if they walk into that room just quickly, if they walk into that
yeah.
room and then Moff Gideon's standing there, and then from different bits of the room, like they come out into like, and they're all wearing that armor. I don't know.
I
I
just
don't know.
think it's I get exactly what you're saying, and I think that would be really thought provoking and engaging and different. But I think you're missing the mark where we're talking about the revival of the Empire, but I don't know who's behind the mask, so I don't care. What is that guy's story for the Empire falling to then continue being in the Empire and to follow Moff Gideon? Like to
Mm.
just throw away Pershing and I can't remember the other character's name who's
Oh, a lie Kane.
yeah.
Yeah,
To why not have them come in?
yeah,
Because we
mate.
have such an interest.
Honestly,
She is so interesting. I want to know so much more about her.
that yeah,
I want to know what happened to Dr. Pershing with the Mind Flayer.
that whole
Um,
episode was set up nothing whatsoever.
it did not pay off at
I
all.
thought they
Yeah.
were going to use the mind flare on Din and like
That's what I was gonna say. That
wipe
would have
his
been
memory of
awesome.
Grogu and like
Yeah.
everything and
And
sort
turn
of
turn Mando against
yeah,
them. And like Empire Strikes Back ended, make it dark and make Mando like an
100%.
Empire like bounty hunter.
Yeah,
Like mess him
yeah.
up. Like
Oh, yeah. That why didn't they do that? Yeah,
because
spray his
then
armor with like red
yeah,
and black
yeah.
and
And then
yeah,
Bo Katan can then have the platform to get a really good sort of arc of a story, take care of Grogu, have that story, and then meet Mando, and then you can resolve it and you can just pay
yeah,
everything off. Like, no, we'll take back Mandalore, which is just has a couple of sort of green spaces and crystals and like
yeah,
I know the
yeah,
Mandalorians need a home and stuff, but like at the same time, like
yeah,
I just don't I don't know. Like
yeah,
it's really hard with a TV show, I think, as well. Like you have this space where you can tell stories longer, but you also have the space where you can explain characters and go into their backstory, into the
yeah.
present.
But
But they don't,
having a
yeah,
space to explain stories for a longer time isn't always the best thing because it can just drag out. But
yeah.
I just want to go into Moff Gideon again. Well, actually, a couple of deaths, two deaths. I just burped. Sorry, that I want to talk about two deaths. Right. First of all, Moff Gideon,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Or was it not Moff Gideon? Was it a clone?
Probably a clone.
Probably a clone because
Moustache,
he
mate,
moustache
moustache.
was gone. Yeah. Um, and you know what, Moff Gideon, I really sort of I loved Moff Gideon,
Hmm.
and he should have been throughout the season, not just in the last two episodes.
Yes.
He should have been a
Yes.
shadow behind, not like season two where he's like at the end, like a stinger at the end. He should have been like threaded throughout in a way, not just like, oh, here he is. Oh, an Imperial probe droid's come along. Oh, there he is.
Hmm.
And then, and he's blown up.
The whole fact
What?
is like he wears this suit of armor which hides his face. Just put that character in there with an altered voice. I know people probably guessed it because he is the big bad villain, but I don't know. At least that could have given the space to
Yeah.
show what they're doing, but it just
Yeah,
came
but
too late, I think.
you're
You
saying
put
that
Jack
about,
Black and Lizzo in an episode
don't
before,
know. Oh my,
and we do need to talk about that as well,
we
because
do, we do.
that that annoyed me.
Yeah, I look.
It
I
took me
mean,
out of Star
it.
Wars completely.
Yeah, if we just finish up this episode though,
Yeah.
the dark saber getting destroyed.
Ooh,
That look,
a
I have
thousand
mixed feelings
years.
about that.
It's just like
Um, but look,
I don't know.
ultimately,
It's bold.
ultimately, I kind of like it.
Bold,
Kind of
isn't
like
it?
it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. It was something that was like, oh, okay, they're actually going in a different direction. Um, and it opened the idea that Mandalore doesn't need this prolific item to be a
Yes.
leader.
Yeah,
You can be
exactly.
a
Okay.
leader based on, like Din said, based on your character, your honor, and your loyalty, and who you are. And I think that's a good
Yeah.
message in a way that
Oh, exactly. It's
you
made
don't
for
need
kids,
to.
isn't it? End of the day, and that it
Yeah,
does
yeah,
demonstrate. It's not too on the nose. It did
yeah,
have it was referenced before. Yeah. It's just
yeah.
okay. No, I
No,
agree with that,
definitely.
man.
And
Yeah.
the relighting of the forge, I thought was nice.
Yeah.
Sort of Mandalore back. It did feel a bit stage like stage sound
Well,
stagey, like
especially
where
the
it's like
volume, bro.
yeah, and where it's like a
Yeah.
room. It's just like a couple of like maybe like 50 people in a room going, yeah,
I
Mandalore,
need
yeah,
I need
like
more
that.
Mandalore flashbacks as well because I haven't seen that much of the Clone Wars that I can't visualize what it
Yeah.
properly looked like with the
It
dome and
it
stuff,
was
and I don't
like
get it.
it was like so you know where it shows like all the towers burnt down.
Yeah, yeah,
So those
yeah.
towers were like massive, and then you'd have sort
A,
of
is it a
different
dome over
buildings
it?
in I can't remember.
Because I thought,
Maybe.
oh
I can't
yeah,
remember fully.
I thought the planet's surface got poisoned in Rebels, but did it happen in the Purge and
Um
after Rebels? And I thought
I
that's why they
think it
live in
must
a
have
dome.
happened. No, I think they were on Mandalore during Rebels.
Yeah, they were. It was
Yeah.
Imperial took over, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I can't remember. But
anyway, yeah.
with that, it was nice. Um it was a nice ending to that. And I think moving on to Grogu and Mando, I
What's
uh
next? That little shot at the end of the
the
old
Looney Tunes
and that's
spotlight.
all, folks.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Da-da-da-da-da. Sort of like
The
that.
American. I felt like I was watching of Mice and Men or something. I don't know, just like those sort of vibes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
American Dream.
Your English teacher. Now, what does this say about the American dream?
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
but I just think it the issue is for me, and I like it sometimes where you don't know where it's gonna go next. But for me, I don't know where it's gonna go next because this feels like an ending.
oh yeah.
Everyone has what they wanted.
Yeah. What the hell? And I don't know why I said that
The
so
Mandal
loudly.
It's true. It's true. The
Yeah.
Mandalorians have Mandalore.
You could just cancel the
Moff Gideon's
season.
gone.
Yeah.
The Imperial Remnant stuff leads into Ahsoka with Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Hmm.
Mando and Grogu settled. He's back on his bounty hunting business. Grogu's got a place to grow up. Navarro's
Yeah.
safe. There's no more
Yeah.
pirates on Ned Chow.
Or well,
I can't think of anything else.
what if I know it's got renewed for season 4,
Go
but
on.
what if you can, and it would be quite interesting, you completely just finish Mandalorian, but you take the characters and you put them into another TV show and make it about something else during that
Yeah,
timeline.
yeah, yeah. Um, or do you know what they're probably going to do? It's probably going to be something where, because he's working for the New Republic now, he's going to be used to sort of hunt down the Imperial remnants, sorry. And he's going to
Yeah,
discover that Moff Gideon is still alive again. Um,
yeah. Again, I thought I killed
I
you.
know, yeah. But I feel like if they do a next season, which they are going to, it needs to have a time jump, and it needs to have a significant time jump where Grogu is grown up slightly and he's not a baby anymore.
But it's really hard to yeah. He gets to decide how much. Well, I know he gets to
Yeah,
decide, but it's 900 years for Yoda to be elderly, but you do get the idea that
yeah. I mean,
he
look,
was in his
Yoda.
prime.
Yeah, Yoda became a Jedi Master at 100 years old, so Grogu
Okay.
isn't that far off.
Fucking hell, why is he
Um,
not grown up then? He's still
I know,
wearing
yeah. So
diapers.
50 years is like a short, like is like slowed down time or something.
Those gonna be some
Um,
ugly toys though. He's got like going through puberty,
yeah,
he's got like acne,
yeah. No,
got a
he's
goatee.
that's we don't even know the
Well, he's
species
got
name.
grey. Yeah, he had. Yeah, innit? I do. it's very
I kind
hard
of like
because
that in a way.
mystery
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
I I
The mystery works, but it doesn't now because there's like three of them:
Yaddle,
Yaddle,
Yoda,
Yoda, and Grogu.
Grogu got closure with Yaddle. She died at the hands of Count Dooku after Phantom
The fact that
Menace.
Yaddle doesn't speak like Yoda is hilarious to me.
Oh yeah, but
She
then
just
they said
speaks
that.
normally
I think they said Yoda speaks that way because of his
because of his
master.
master. Yeah, I thought, yeah. But yeah, it's just funny.
And
But I think
yeah,
maybe they set that up with Yaddle so that Grogu doesn't have to speak like that. That people
yeah,
aren't now expecting
because then
that.
he'll this is the way that will just be speaking like
Way this is.
way this
Um,
is.
but look, I mean, I feel like we've done justice to
Yeah,
our thoughts on that. Now,
yeah,
if we just quickly move on to the season as a whole.
yeah.
Um,
What was your
right.
standout moment, Joe?
My standout moment. All right, yeah, let's do standout and worst moments
Let's
of
talk
the
about something
series.
good,
Oh
please.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
let's do positive. I really liked the episode where Mandalore when the Mandalorian Din Djarin goes to Mandalore to bathe in the waters and gets trapped by this random General Grievous type like
yeah,
spider droid thing.
mm.
Um, and then he goes into the waters and the mythosaur. We completely forgot about that. I felt like he was a bit like it was going to zoom down to him. He was going to wink at the camera or something. But anyway, and we see the mythosaur, and I feel like there was more. The mythosaur was less of a setup for something in the finale, and more of a sort of a symbolic thing for Bo in a way that she was like
Yeah.
chosen to be the new leader.
It's the
Um,
idea that he'll use the Force to connect to the Mythosaur as well, like
yeah,
he did in the
eventually,
Book of Boba
yeah,
Fett, yeah, and
yeah.
maybe be that isn't there the prophecy of the one that is it like
Yeah,
rise to Mythosaur, or just like does
I just can't remember. I think it's something like when the mythosaur reawakens, it will herald in the new
yeah,
era of Mandalore, which I guess it did in a way. So
yeah.
that was set up nicely. But yeah, I like that. What did you like before I
I am
was into my
about
negatives?
to. I'm literally going on Disney Plus to see the episodes. I can't remember what happened. So we have the Apostate, the
Yeah,
Mines of Mandalore, which you talked about.
yeah, I like that one. Yeah,
Convert was
that was Pershing.
actually interesting because I know
Wasn't
that like
expecting
sort of I'm actually playing an episode of Disney Plus right now.
it.
Whoops. Yeah, that was interesting to me, even though the
Yeah,
Mandalorian wasn't in it, only a little bit in the beginning, I think. But
yeah.
I
Tail on
liked
top it.
seeing yeah, I liked seeing
No.
Coruscant, and I liked seeing the react.
Yeah,
You know, I said, who's behind the mask? What is going on with these Imperials? And I found it really interested to see how they have to recondition their minds, how they're treated by society, Dr. Pershing's adjustment, and the whole sort of into the perspective of what it was like was
yeah,
really refreshing. I just wish they had. I think the episode is good. I think it just needed, and it might still have a payoff down future lines, but
yeah.
I just felt like I don't really know how to sort of say it. What did you think? Like,
I think with that episode in particular, I enjoyed it because it was something new, and I wasn't expecting it to. I wasn't expecting to see an episode about Dr. Pershing, but it again just felt like the writers didn't, or just the team in general didn't
more like a filler
know.
episode.
Not so much filler, but like it was setting up like Gideon in a weird way, and they
Yeah,
didn't. They wanted to sort of set this espionage thing up, and then it's like, oh, okay, we're going to forget about that about the next four episodes.
it could have been Pershing getting kidnapped at the end, and then the
Yeah,
reveal of Gideon.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're going
yeah,
to use your research and then brainwashing him or something. Then
yeah.
like
Oh,
just
sorry.
to show like yeah, to show that stakes. But you know, like I think just with me, I always find with Mandalorian finale is the best episode. First
Yeah,
episode's finale was absolutely fantastic, and
yeah.
you just got such excitement seeing the nurse droid IG-11 saving
Yeah.
Grogu, and
Yeah,
that
it
was
had
awesome. And
emotional stakes. It had
his
stakes.
sacrifice, and then
Yeah.
again, with Luke, it was really sort of satisfying to sort of see the connection to the larger Star Wars universe and to have.
Yeah.
I know, well, the big thing was taking Grogu away from him. It really
Yeah.
sort of it
That
broke your heart. Yeah,
yeah. Look,
and
it made sense that it was Luke, and I know I've
yeah,
ribbed on the fact that it was Luke, but it did still make
out of
sense
all the
that it was
Jedi to
Luke.
take,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, sure.
But it's like they just tease so much, and I know that's why it's called
Yeah.
teasing. But to tease those whales in the
Oh, the
hyperspace
Purgils,
lane,
yeah.
and yeah, in the first episode, people that haven't
Oh
seen
shit, yeah.
Rebels, they
Oh, it's a
they're
whale.
from
What
the
the hell?
they're from
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
they're from the cartoon. That's sort of where hyperspace. I guess they can harness hyperspace the same as the ship does, and
Yeah.
I just needed something to
Harness.
capture
Yeah.
me and my, I guess, pull on my heartstrings a little bit and sort of like
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get that.
engage. I just wasn't engaged. I didn't
It
really
you know
care
what?
much during the episodes or the season really. Like,
No, it felt like a
what was the
season.
plot? What was the plot? Tell me
Well,
right now.
this is what I want to this is what I bring want to bring up quickly. Um, it felt like in the best way possible to Clone Wars because I do love the Clone Wars, but it felt like a season of the Clone Wars
When it's
where
going like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because there is this list someone's made of episodes of the Clone Wars you can skip and not miss anything,
Yeah.
and you could make an episode list of this season, you wouldn't miss anything. I reckon
Mhm.
you could watch 4 out of the 8 episodes and you probably wouldn't miss
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. And one of those would be the one with Jack Black and Lizzo in, because that was fundamentally
Yeah,
it changed the Star Wars universe
mate.
for the better.
When I saw them in it, I look. You know, I've got nothing against Jack Black or Lizzo. I love both of them for different
Hmm.
reasons. But when they're, I just thought, no, it's so gimmicky. It's
It's the
like
fact they were
putting,
just cameos. They weren't
yeah,
properly fundamental to the story. Like,
no, I'm trying to think of an example, but it's like putting oh, anything.
you can't think of an example because they've never done it to something that is
Yeah.
iconic like Star Wars. Like, you don't put like I don't know, guest
Oh,
stars.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, guest stars, like guest starring Jack
Yeah,
Black
yeah,
and
this
Lizzo,
week.
like is
Yeah.
it is not the thing to do it with. Like,
Next, they'll be having like a like clapping track and like
yeah, yeah,
laughs. It'll turn
laughing
into Big
track,
Bang
yeah.
Theory or
Like
something. But
when Lizzo's throwing the slug thing and Grogu's
mm,
aiming it, and it's like, what are you doing? What is this?
yeah,
I'm watching. But yeah, look, you know that was going to be my negative.
yeah, yeah.
All in all, I think they kind of fucked this season up, in my
They
opinion,
they they have a high bar that they've set. They
and
just
they
when you
did
don't
not
meet it,
jump it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They didn't even meet it. That's the thing.
yeah. Look, I'm just gonna end my views on that. I love the Mandalorian. I love Star Wars. I hate the fact that I am being negative about it.
Mm,
But I've got to be honest in my opinions on it. And I've just felt like this whole season was a roller coaster of tone shifts, and it just needed to stick to being something that it should have been. And I think what it should have been is Mando without Grogu and
yeah,
him finding it, like you were saying earlier, him
yeah,
finding Grogu at the end to bring him back down to who he was before.
yeah.
But
Listen,
instead, we got
but
Jack Black and Lizzo, and even Jack Black's voice in it was like, I don't know, oh my God. Like that. I was like, what are you? What is
mm,
this?
I
Like,
just think
so
as
stupid.
well. On a closing note, can it be that they're just overworking themselves? They have John Favreau is
Yeah,
producing this, Ahsoka, potentially Skeleton Crew, something.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if Andor's season two's in the mix. It's so much stuff, and I found the clip the other day of George Lucas explaining that corporations like Disney and stuff, they don't care about the story, they care about making money. And if we're following
Yeah.
down this trope, you're not going to capture the original trilogy's magic
No,
because
no, it's true.
you're not focused enough on this on serving the story, and that's what's got to be
Yeah.
done. So
Look,
yeah.
I love John Favreau. He's the man who made Iron Man, but he's also
Mm.
the man who made Iron Man 2. And on that note,
Yeah.
have you got anything else?
I've got nothing left.
We've got nothing left.